We were the girls. At least, that's what the group chat used to be called. 5 of us, bonded in the messy trenches of college. Roommates who turned into brunch besties, road trip partners, breakup therapists, and emergency contact level friends. We were there for everything. Birthdays, panic attacks, hookups we regretted by breakfast, ugly crying on the floor over job rejections, celebrating promotions with cheap champagne and TikToks we never posted. It felt real. Like family. Like home. But I was the glue. And I didn't even know it. Back then, I didn't mind being the planner. I liked keeping things running. I was the one who set up the Airbnb for every girl's trip. Made spreadsheets for splitting groceries. Knew who hated mushrooms and who could die from cashews. I kept mini hand sanitizers in my purse before COVID made it cool. I was the one who remembered that Sam got anxious in crowds and always reserved the aisle seat. I did it because I loved them, and I thought they loved me back. But things started to shift after college. At first, it was subtle. Group dinners where my texts confirming the time got no replies until an hour before. Inside jokes I wasn't part of. Complaints about how I always bring up work when I was literally just answering the "how's your job?" question. Then the comments started. Little digs wrapped in laughter. Oh, here comes the group therapy session. She's gonna cry again, isn't she? Babe, you feel too much. And every time, I'd do the polite thing. Smile. Laugh it off. Try not to let it get under my skin. Until one Saturday night, I saw their Instagram story. All 4 of them at the movies. Smiling. Popcorn. The same cheesy horror flick we had all talked about seeing together. Only, I wasn't there. I thought it was a mistake. A mix-up. Maybe they forgot to text me? So I asked. Just send a simple, "Hey, was this planned last minute?" I didn't see anything in the chat. It took a while, but they responded. Haley was first. "We just figured you'd make it heavy." Then Sam chimed in. "It's not personal. We just needed a break from the emotions." No one else said anything. And then, the chat disappeared. I wasn't removed. No, they deleted it. Made a new one, probably, without me. Just like that. No fight. No explanation. I stared at the empty screen like my phone had glitched. And I wish I could say I cried. Or screamed. Or sent a long text telling them off. But I didn't. I just sat there. Let it burn through me like acid on bone. The silence was louder than anything they could have said. And then I got up. Walked to the mirror. Looked myself in the eyes. They didn't deserve the version of me I gave them. So I took her back. Step 1. I deleted the Google Calendar that held every single birthday, girls' night reminder, and bill-splitting event I had set up for 3 years. I removed myself from every shared doc. The Spotify playlist we used for road trips? Gone. The Amazon list of potential birthday gifts I maintained for each of them? Deleted. Step 2. Started reclaiming what was mine. The Netflix account Chloe used? Cancelled. I changed the password and removed all their devices first, just so they'd feel it. The cabin in the woods trip I'd planned and booked 6 months ago? I called Airbnb, told them there was a personal emergency, and got a full refund. I deleted the resume review folder I'd made for them on Google Drive. I had rewritten Sam's resume twice during her job hunt. Gone. Every link. Every favor. Every support system I had quietly built behind the scenes, dismantled. Then came step 3. The letters. Not a text. Not a DM. Not an email. Real, ink-on-paper letters. Each one was different, but the message was the same. I hope you find what you're looking for. But don't come back when you realize you never looked for it in me. No return address. Just a signature at the bottom, my name, without apology. Then I vanished. Blocked them all. Deleted our old photos from my phone. Unfollowed mutuals or muted the ones I still liked. Didn't post anything. Didn't subtweet. Just silence. For the first time in a long time, the only voice I heard was mine. Weeks passed. I started doing little things for myself. Took a solo weekend trip. Read books that weren't self-help. Painted without the pressure to post it. Got a piercing I'd always wanted but had been too scared to get because Chloe once called it trashy. And then the cracks started showing. A text from an unknown number. "Hey, it's Haley. I think things got blown out of proportion. We miss you." I didn't answer. An Instagram story from Sam about fake friends who hold grudges. Right. Then Chloe tweeted. Sometimes people confuse emotional dumping for bonding. I blocked her. But the best one? Taylor. The leader. The one who coordinated the takedown. I'm sure. She messaged me at 1:12 a.m. "I didn't realize how much you did for us until it stopped. I'm sorry. I saw it. Let it sit there. Never replied. Because here's the truth. When people say you're too sensitive, they don't mean you feel too much. They mean you feel more than they're willing to. They mean you make them look at things they'd rather ignore. You make their surface-level kindness uncomfortable. You make their fake deep friendships feel shallow. They called me too much. Now they get nothing. And the silence? It's not empty. It's mine. I thought that would be the end of it. But people have a way of coming back when they realize you were the only one doing the emotional heavy lifting. And when that person walks away, suddenly everyone feels the weight. 2 weeks after Taylor's 1:12 a.m. apology, I started getting Instagram follow requests from burner accounts. No profile pictures, usernames like watch from afar or sunshine_just_browsing. One of them accidentally liked a post from 2018 before immediately disappearing. It was almost funny. They wanted to know if I was still broken, still spiraling, still waiting for them. But I wasn't. I had joined a pottery class, something I'd always wanted to try but had been told was messy and impractical. I met people there who asked real questions, who listened without rushing to give advice, who didn't flinch when I said I had anxiety, people who didn't treat emotions like a contagion. And for the first time, I realized what I had called friendship before was just proximity, shared history, convenience. Because now that I wasn't planning every event, no one stepped up to take over. Their stories started looking smaller, less frequent. I saw one of them post a birthday selfie alone. No caption, just a cake and a forced smile. I knew that look. That's what pretending to be fine feels like when the person who used to hold the group together decides to stop. And then the real messages started. Not pity texts, not passive-aggressive posts. Real ones. Chloe, of all people, emailed me. Subject: I was wrong. She wrote 4 paragraphs. Said she'd gone to therapy. That she realized she'd been dismissive because she didn't know how to deal with emotions. She admitted she copied my cover letter when applying for her job. Said she didn't want to apologize just to make herself feel better, but because she finally understood what she'd done. She said she missed me. Not my rides. Not my planning. Me. I cried reading it. Not because I forgave her. I didn't. Not yet. But because it was the first time one of them told the truth. Still, I didn't reply. Not to her. Not to any of them. Because healing isn't something I owe them access to. It's mine. A few days later, I was at the farmer's market when I ran into Sam. She was standing by the local honey stand, nervously stirring her coffee. Her eyes widened when she saw me. She smiled like we were old friends running into each other on good terms. Hey, she said, as if nothing had happened. It's been forever. I nodded. Yeah, it has. She looked me up and down. You look good. I shrugged. I feel good. We stood there in silence for a second. Then she said it. I didn't know we were hurting you. I raised an eyebrow. You didn't know telling me I was too emotional was hurtful? She flinched. I mean, I guess we did. But it felt like we didn't have space for your stuff. And that's not fair to say, I know. But we were all dealing with our own things. I looked at her. I could have lashed out. I could have listed every time I had carried their emotions. Every call at 2 a.m. Every therapy link I'd sent. Every lie I'd absorbed to protect their feelings. Instead, I said, you didn't want space. You wanted silence. She blinked. I'm not mad anymore, I added. But I'm not coming back. She nodded slowly. I figured. And then, like the universe had a dark sense of humor, she asked, could you send me that resume template again? I lost it. I laughed. Not the bitter kind, the genuinely amused kind. No, I said. But I'm sure you'll figure it out. I walked away, light on my feet, the breeze warm on my face. That night, I opened my journal and wrote one line. If they only liked you when you were silent, they never liked you. And still, they didn't stop. Taylor sent flowers to my work a week later. The note just said, thanks for being the best part of us. I donated them to the lobby. Haley started following my new friends, liking their posts, commenting supportive things like she was one of us. But none of them responded, because I told them the truth about who she was. And unlike before, I wasn't afraid of being too much anymore. I was exactly enough for people who didn't fear feeling. Then, one night, I got a voice message from an unknown number. It was Chloe. Her voice cracked. She was crying. She said, I know you're not coming back, but I need to tell you something. I wasn't just cruel. I was jealous of how honest you were. You said things I was too afraid to say. I see it now. And I'm sorry. I replayed it 3 times. Then I deleted it. Because closure isn't a permission slip to re-enter someone's life. It's a mirror, and they were finally seeing themselves, without me reflecting back the version they wanted. By the time fall rolled around, I had stopped checking their socials entirely, not out of anger. I just didn't care anymore. It was a strange kind of freedom, not having to brace myself for the passive-aggressive captions, the group photos I wasn't in, the subtle jabs disguised as inspirational quotes. I had outgrown the drama. Outgrown them. Instead, I was growing something else. I had started seeing a therapist, not because of them, but because of what I had allowed in the name of friendship. How many tiny wounds I had let scab over without ever cleaning them out. How often I said, it's fine, when it absolutely wasn't. How I had shrunk myself to fit into a space that wasn't made for a whole person. And slowly, I started becoming someone I liked again. One night, during a pottery class, I made a cup. It was lopsided, uneven, a little cracked near the bottom, and I loved it. Because it wasn't perfect. But it was mine. A week later, Haley showed up at my apartment. I should have known she'd find me. She always had a way of digging into people's lives like it was her job. That was her superpower, surface-level charm masking an obsession with control. She stood at my door holding a bottle of wine I used to love in college. Same label. Same, remember this, smile. I didn't open the door all the way. Just enough to hear her out. I know you don't want to talk, she said. I miss you. We all do. I didn't say anything. She tried again. You were the best of us, you know? That word, best, felt so cheap now. I wasn't the best, I said quietly. I was just the one who cared the most. And none of you could handle that. She blinked. That's not fair. No, I replied. What wasn't fair was using me for emotional labor you never intended to return. What wasn't fair was acting like I was broken because I refused to pretend nothing hurt. She looked like she wanted to argue, but something in my voice must have stopped her. I'm not asking you to come back, she said finally. I wanted you to know I think about what I did. What we did? I nodded. Good. Keep thinking. Then I closed the door. Not slammed. Just closed. It didn't even feel dramatic. It felt clean. Final. That night, I lit a candle and deleted her number. Again, there was still one part left. One last person I hadn't heard from. Taylor. The so-called leader of the group. The orchestrator of every trip, every brunch plan, until she got tired of sharing the spotlight with someone who didn't just want fun, but depth. I hadn't heard from her in weeks. Until I did. An email. Subject line. This is not an apology. Of course. She always had to be different. In it, she explained everything. Or tried to. She said she hadn't realized what she'd done. That she thought she was helping me by pushing me out. That I needed space to grow. That the group needed balance. She called me intense. Passionate. Emotional. Words she used like daggers dipped in honey. And then she said this. I guess I just didn't want to feel like the bad guy. But maybe I was. It was the closest she could get to honesty. I gave her that. But I still didn't reply. Because it wasn't about who was the bad guy. It was about who left me bleeding while calling it love. Weeks passed. Then months. Winter came. I hosted a small dinner for the people in my life now. The ones who asked how I was and actually wanted the real answer. We ate too much pasta, laughed too loudly, and someone knocked over a bottle of red wine onto my white rug. No one yelled. We just cleaned it up together. Later, one of my new friends, Lila, stayed behind to help me do the dishes. She looked at me, drying a plate, and said, You know, you're kind of the glue around here. I froze. That word used to feel like a trap. No? It just made me smile. Yeah, I said. But I don't stick to people who want to rip me apart. She laughed, not fully getting it. But that was okay. I wasn't living in old wounds anymore. I wasn't curating a life around people who only liked me when I was quiet, convenient, and useful. I had boundaries now. And peace. And a group chat full of people who didn't flinch at the word feelings. So when the final message came, a long DM from Chloe on a new account, full of, I miss you, and we were wrong, and maybe we could all talk? I didn't get angry. I didn't even read the whole thing. I just swiped left. And blocked. Because the truth was no longer blurry. They didn't lose me because I was too sensitive. They lost me because they refused to feel anything at all. Spring rolled in quietly. No dramatic turning point. No big revelation. Just longer days, softer mornings, and a calm that didn't need explaining. I wasn't getting over it. I had outgrown it. Sometimes people assume healing comes with closure, that one final apology, One dramatic face-to-face, one perfectly timed moment where the past gets neatly boxed up and stored away. But that's not how it works. Sometimes healing is deleting the photos and not checking your memories on purpose. Sometimes it's walking past a coffee shop you used to love and not feeling the need to go in. Sometimes it's being okay when no one claps for you, because you finally learned how to clap for yourself. And sometimes it's watching the people who once held your heart twist themselves into knots trying to get back in and feeling absolutely nothing. That's what happened the day I ran into all four of them. It was at a street fair. I was there with a few friends, holding a lavender lemonade and laughing about something small and stupid. Sun on my face. Peace in my chest. Then I saw them. Chloe, Haley, Sam, Taylor. Grouped together like they used to be, but different now. Disjointed. They weren't laughing. No matching sunglasses. No shared bracelets. Just four women standing close together but feeling worlds apart. Taylor saw me first. She froze mid-sentence. Her eyes landed on me like she'd been waiting for this moment. Chloe nudged her, followed her gaze. Then Sam turned. Then Haley. All at once, like a wave of recognition. They stared. I smiled. Just a little. Not out of pettiness. Not to make a point. Just because I was okay. And they weren't. They didn't walk over. But Taylor took a step, just one, before Haley put a hand on her arm and shook her head. I watched them shrink. Together. Holding on to a broken bond like a glass they were too scared to admit had already shattered. And I turned away. Because the person I was now had nothing to prove to the version of them that broke me. I didn't tell anyone I saw them. Didn't write about it. Didn't overanalyze the look on their faces. I just lived the rest of that day fully present. That night, I found myself scrolling through old photos. Not to dwell, but just to see. There we were. In college. On beaches. In cars. In cramped apartments with string lights and cheap wine. We were smiling, laughing, alive. And I realized something. Those moments were real. The love I gave them, real. My care, my effort, my tears, my loyalty, all real. Just because they didn't value it doesn't mean it didn't matter. I mattered. That's the lie people tell you after betrayal. That you were stupid. That you should have known better. That your softness was a mistake. But here's the truth. You can be kind and still walk away. You can give everything and still take it all back. You can be sensitive and still choose silence, not as surrender, but as power. I don't need revenge. I don't need their regret. They said I was too much. And now? They get nothing. Not my time. Not my stories. Not even my hate. Just absence. The kind that echoes. The kind that teaches. The kind that says, this is what it feels like, to finally feel everything you ignored.